We don't want to start right away. Hold on, I'm still... I haven't even loaded up the mods yet. Whoa, okay. What happened to my transmission? Where's my transition? Random late night nonsense for courtesy. God. Even at 5%! This thing is too loud on my fucking ears. But yeah, just random late night nonsense that I've had in mind. I don't know. I've just been playing these add-ons so much that I've gone through so many different Sonics. So many different Sonics. And then Shadow, and then Blaze, and then a bunch of other characters. And I have been working my way through all the different Chaotix characters and Ray. Heavy. I should have done, honestly, a challenge run as Heavy, because trying to play as Heavy in Soul Sestancia is interesting, but in Soul Sestancia there's just like a few things that don't quite work. So you gotta kind of work around. Bomb is a character that I have not had a whole lot of experience with for a start. So I don't even begin to know how this is gonna go. My ears have... Yeah, I don't really care about the story here, please. Can we just go? Robotnik, please shut up for a moment! I should have downloaded the other version of this dang mod. So that's what that does, and... of course, it's still going to do that, isn't it? Yes, I know I'm supposed to steer. But you're not going to deter me from coming into that little alcove anytime that I start up this level in the mod. Because, fuck you, I want that extra goodies. And yet you still go off in the water despite the fact that there's nothing to ignite. Okay, you come in here and... a fuck man! Looking back on it, doing a challenge run as Heavy was probably a better idea, but given that I've already done that... Well, I say challenge run as Heavy. It's just play as Heavy in general for this mod is a challenge. Is what I meant to say. Bomb, I won't know what the challenge is until it smacks me in the face, obviously, because so far I'm not hitting. So far, I think my biggest obstacle is what's going to happen every time I need to do a double jump. Spin dashing seems to be pretty standard, though, so long as I don't light up to this point and smack into something. Although that could be helpful at times. I can't say for absolute certain. And nominally as... God, why is this water so loud? Oh, forgive me, I don't play this game with headphones on most of the time. And even when I do, I've got the default... The de facto volume control of this game is set at 5%. 5 god dang % volume, and it's still this loud. First Emerald to go-go. Too late, Knick-Knack. Whatever the fuck her name is. You know, it didn't occur to me when I started this whether or not the music in this mod would be a problem. Oh well, I guess I'll find out as time goes on. You know what? No, let me go in and turn down the in-game volume. At the very least, save that much of my hearing. Because it's just like, it doesn't freaking matter how much I lower the sound settings in the PC audio sound settings. For whatever godforsaken reason, hello, you're a boss. You pretend to be at the very least. Yeah, it's just like, no matter how much I adjust the sound settings, once I start playing the game... Okay, that didn't take as many hits. I assume that's because explosions do more damage. But the point I'm trying to make is that no matter how many times, no matter how often it is that I go through and I actually make the effort of lowering the in-game lowering the volume in the PC settings, the PC sound settings, these things still end up like at utterly unbearable high volumes when I plug in my headset. And at this point, it's just barely tolerable. But when there's a lot of noise going on at once, it's just like, god dang. What the f... Okay.
Okay then, priority number 1.
Oi! Shut it! I'm trying to sleep!
Target escaped.
Well, I suck at myself. I ain't yelling while you're sleeping, am I?
Why not? Everybody else does. I don't know why I've never seen these back here. Whatever. I'm not super fixated on collecting anything but the emeralds, honestly. And I can do that with relative ease. I played this mod a little I play this mod often enough that I know where all the emerald locations are anyway. And yeah, you'll forgive me if I'm ignoring all the cameos and whatnot that are going to show up in this mod. Quite frankly, again, I played this mod so often and with every single character that I have so far, you know, barring Bomb. I'm sure I can download more characters to play it with later, but I'm just running through all the various different characters to see how well they all manage to get through these mods. And so far, the two characters that have given me the most grief going through this mod in particular are Heavy and Vector. The problems I had with Vector were simply a case of I did not have enough lives, and I kept fucking up the same things over and over again. In places where if I fucked up multiple times, I could get away with it because I usually have enough lives by that point. But for whatever reason, when I got there with Vector during his playthrough, I didn't. And yeah, I've already collected all of the emblems too, so I don't really need to do anything about that. So I probably posted about this a little bit, but it seems a bit awkward to be playing the Chaotic Sponge and just have all these cameos in the level. And it's just like, you happen to bump into one character as that same character. Of course, it's a different art style, because it's in the art style of the creator of this mod, Roger Vandelin, I guess his name is? Roger something or other. Roger. That's all I remember. And frankly, this wouldn't be a first choice for mod level packs that I would honestly recommend to anyone else. The only reason that I picked it up is because it had the X Sonic levels included in it, or levels explicitly aimed towards completion by X Sonic. Which you wouldn't think is that big of a deal trying to complete those same levels as any other characters, but yeah, no, I'll probably try to show it off later, maybe. I don't think that those levels are completable, at least not on normal mode. The normal level is even completable without X Sonic. God, I really should have saved Heavy for something like this to show off just how troubling accomplishing this level is, with the sort of handicaps that come with playing as them. Bomb honestly isn't that difficult, at least not yet. I saved Bomb for this, and frankly I'm starting to feel like maybe he's not going to be as much of a problem as I had with Heavy, and I should have done this with Heavy if it was going to do like a big challenge playthrough. But I already completed my Heavy playthrough, so yeah. Maybe I'll use Heavy for another mod pack in the future, depending on if I give a dang. It could come with any number of challenge playthroughs. Honestly, the more I think about it, because I haven't played Dust in a while, and I really like playing Dust and Elysian Tale. And I have completed, like, playthrough on the harder difficulties, but it's been a while. So maybe at some point I could do a low-level challenge playthrough on the higher difficulties, maybe, of that game, possibly. Yeah, it's after the 4th, but people are still doing that shit. Hello? That was fireworks, right? Okay, I want to make sure no one's setting off any guns anywhere around here, are they? Well, that's what I thought. So we're going to be getting more storms? I can't hear a word he's saying now, so I'm just going to roll with it.
Can you guys lure the robots away from here so we can sneak out?
Yeah, sure. Who the fuck are you? Okay, so this could end up being more of a problem than I thought it was. If this guy won't leave me alone. Rolling. Excuse me, make way, come through. Oh, did I interrupt something, fellas? I don't need to really be here. Well, I know who Scratch and Grounder are. I mean, anyone who doesn't know who Scratch and Grounder are, I mean, I pity you. You missed not only a good age of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons, you missed a lot of YouTube poops. But yeah, they were the first two major... I would say the first two. As far as cartoon shows go, throughout Sonic the Hedgehog in general, there's been a recurring theme of Dr. Robotnik having at least two robot lackeys of significant incompetence always helping him in some manner with his schemes. You know, for the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, it was scratch and grounder. The closest thing that he had to something like that in the Saturday morning cartoon was Snively. Sonic X, it was Boko and Deco. In everything post-Sonic Unleashed, it's been Orbot and Cubot. Frankly, my personal inclination leans to favor Scratch and Grounder. Here I was thinking Bomb was going to be a more difficult sort of character to play this with. God, I feel a dummy now. And in a way, there is still some difficulty to using Bomb, but not nearly as much as problems I had when I was playing with Heavy. Why the fuck do I need air? Why the hell does a robot with no face that can even go in the water in the fucking first place need oxygen? Although to be frank, coming back to the subject of playing Dust and Elysian Tale, there are a lot of games that I don't want to really revisit until I have a proper, fully functioning VTuber model. Because, you know, as is, all I've got is this ping tube thing. I mean, yes, I did make and render and rig a functional 3D model to take the PNG images up. But if you're wondering, okay, so you went on to that trouble, you have a 3D rig, you have a rigged 3D model of a character. What is keeping you from using that full rigged model? Well, a number of things. First of all, yes, I do have it rigged. My rig, I don't think, is set to the specific specifications required of a genuine functional VTuber model, and I would have to figure out how to do that, first of all. Second of all, to be brutally honest, not all that pleased with the model as it is. Like, genuine truth be told, okay, I managed that. It's not it. It's not even a model that I would really like to be using for VTubing, and I want to have something a bit more traditional, I guess. Something that isn't, you know, very clearly meant to be a furry. No, I need something that's a little less kimono and more, what is the terminology there? Well, not full on, definitely furry style. Like, you know, that more like human with ears and possibly tail sort of thing. You know, that. Okay. I just nuked. I nucleated. You know, if I'm gonna have an avatar, I want to have something slightly more approachable than full-on furry, at least as far as the VTubing stuff goes. Another is my computer having the resource manage it to even handle running a VTuber model, a full and active VTuber model in the first place. I get that, but I don't get that reference back there. Also, can I just say this level is a piece of shit? Not because it's a particularly badly designed level, but because the optimization design, or whatever it is for this level, is abysmal. Like, this frame rate is severely dampened, and it wouldn't matter about... Okay. It wouldn't matter if I were streaming or not. This is the way that this level functions for myself every single time I played it, and every person that I've seen play it. This level is just bad. Like, it's perfectly playable, but holy crap, what is causing the frame rate to dip so goddamn hard throughout this entire zone? Nope, don't understand that one at all. And I always forget that part. No matter how many times I played this level, I always forget those things up there would actually hurt. Dumb fudgery. And when I say this level is poorly optimized, this area right up ahead is usually so laggy that... Okay, no, okay, there it goes. Yeah, the stuff starts blinking out of existence. I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die! I bombed. Run through this, and yep, things just... shit starts disappearing, and I can't tell what I'm supposed to be avoiding. The answer is just keep running. Just keep running. Basically, all these level designs in these specific versions of in these mods really come down to. They're just like, it's either a level that where you're mostly just... God, the lag. It's probably very limiting, because a lot of the admittedly, a lot of the original designs here are kind of, if I must say, rudimentary. And it seems to me like this person textured basically everything manually. So, when you're doing everything by hand, by yourself, I can't say I'm necessarily going to complain too significantly about the fact that, hey, maybe this isn't all the greatest.
In tonight's news story, there is a rumor to... they're here! Security!
Yes, I'm a terrorist. I've got a bomb! I am a bomb. Terrorism. Sometimes I feel like that word just gets thrown around a little bit too much. Granted, I could say that about a lot of things, about words that lose their meaning over time because they keep getting spewed constantly. Okay, so I managed to do a bit of tech there. Wasn't really thinking about it, honestly. I was just going. Honestly, Charmy B was another sort of challenge playthrough, because trying to beat this game with Charmy, with his sting ability, absolute pain in the butt trying to... during most levels, all you have to do is avoid everything. You know, and never have to really worry about Charmy's sting ability all that much, because all you're doing is that you're zipping up and down trying to get to the level. It's when I try to hit a boss act with Charmy that everything goes wrong. Alright, you know what? I had to stop there for a second, because I don't think I ever took the time to think about what the pun was there with regards to the sign and what was actually going on in the studio set. Ha! Is that Lilac and Carol and Freedom Planet? I really do have to apologize for ever starting a playthrough on that and never finishing it. That was back during a time where I really didn't have much opportunity to get everything together and do things like that together with my brother. And, well, now I'm never going to get that chance ever again, I don't think. You know, outside of Christmas time, where the only way I'm ever going to rope him into actually playing a game with me is if I get him drunk. At which point, he turns into a complete asshole. I don't know if you're watching this, Vic, but you do! It also doesn't help that I have personal stigma against drinking. I don't know if I've ever told this story before, but once upon a time, a long time ago, my grandfather on my mom's side owned a tavern. I don't think it was a very long-lived endeavor, but it was long enough that my mother, for some reason or another, brought us there to visit with him at some point during business hours, and the smell made me unbelievably sick. I fucking detest that smell. Anything to do with it. And then, of course, there's just, you know, my grandpa in general was essentially a full-time drunkard, and I rarely even knew the sort of person he was when he wasn't drinking. And for all I knew growing up, that's all my grandfather was a career drunkard. But you know, when you're young, you don't understand how things work. You don't understand why things worked out the way they do. And when you do, it's a lot worse. Regardless, the fact is, that's a core memory from my youth that sort of lingers. And that's kind of why drinking is just a no-go for me. And seeing other people do it, regardless of reason, regardless of purpose, regardless of the... Oh, come on! Hi, folks! Don't mind me. I'm just dropping in. I didn't mean to come down here. Holy cow, I'm glad I managed to save myself. Oh, boy. No! Oh, come on. I saved myself and then I fell down all over again. God sakes. But that's just a personal thing that I've held with me, and that's why I don't drink much at all that often, period. I think this is going to be the level that determines whether or not I'm going to have struggles moving forward. Because this is the level that gave me trouble with both Vector and Heavy. Oh, well, hold on a moment, though. I am Bomb. Why should I be worried if there's an explosion in the first place? I was going to do that anyway. When I am the bomb, why am I worried about explosions? I am the explosions! Why am I worried about going boom? That is my entire purpose. Is there... Alright, I'm just gonna assume that there's some sort of way that this game gauges how you play through the level somehow. Because sometimes that one box that I broke through back there is an extra life, and sometimes it's extra time. And I don't know what it is that determines being one or the other. Yeah, here I was... I keep harping on this. Here I was expecting Bomb to be a challenging character to play as, and so far I'm not really having that big of a struggle with him. And here I was afraid it was all going to be like all explosions all the time. No way I was ever going to make it through through this without my entire playthrough basically being Michael Bay. Speaking of which, apparently Michael Bay is coming back to make the next live-action Transformers film. Why are we in this timeline again? How did we get here? What the fuck is wrong with people? That we're at a point where the slop, the utter slop, the complete brain-dead fuck shit slop made by Michael God fucking damn Bay is somehow more palatable than the past handful of Transformers films. I mean, Jesus Christ almighty. I saved myself. I fucking hate this part because those darn targeting sensors down there will come to... Problem for me, come on. No, 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 no! Ah! Already not liking things. Feck! Feck! Feck!
I think not. Heat Robot T-7000. Stop these pits!
Shut your bumhole! I have to hear this shit over and over again every single time. This is the part that causes me more grief than it's worth. Just like, yes, I can do this. I can do this. But it always takes me so many different tries because those stupid targeting things. God dang it! I can barely see them as it is! Oh, why? That's a problem I'm gonna have to deal with, is being bounced back when I smack into things with that bomb explosion. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me. Good grief. Okay. Down to one life. Like, is it any wonder I had this much trouble with it, with other characters like Heavy and Vector? Now, wait a minute. I could go over there and try and trigger the cutscenes, or I could just go over here and start the frickin' level. Incidentally, I think this is the first piece of non-Sonic remix music that I recognized when I first played this. Because this is a game that I played. This is from Buzz Lightyear Star Command. A game that, quite frankly, looking back on, I never understood how I actually managed to 100% that game. It's not good. It's just like, I guess, because it came on the coattails of the Toy Story 2 video game and was attached to the Buzz Lightyear of Star Command series, I was just sort of desperate to squeeze whatever enjoyment I could out of it. But yeah, I at some point did manage to do 100% on Buzz Lightyear Star Command, the video game. And honestly, from what little I've seen, looking back on it, I'm just like, why do I do this shit to myself? Why do I have this constant knack for playing games that are otherwise objectionably terrible and somehow putting myself to the test, the limit, as it were, to frickin' play them to 100%. Why do I do this shit to myself? I ask, as I realize I have always done this shit to myself. Incidentally, yeah, here are frickin' Orbot and Cubot in this game. You know, I pointed out Scratch and Grounder earlier, but no Boko and Deco, and for some reason, and that only one thing could spoil my mood now.
What's that, Jim? Oh.
I need to... You know, I think that's probably going to be one of the last things I do as a regular playthrough on my channel. Because, quite frankly, I'm just so wound down. I feel like I've kind of just reached this point in my life where, A, I don't care about new games anymore. B, whenever I do pick up a new game, my default mindset is, do a playthrough for YouTube! And it just... never enjoy myself. I keep losing my train of thought here. Oh yeah, the Sonic X content in this pack. There's no Boko or Deco. Or if there is, I've completely forgotten them. They're just like, you see Scratch and Grounder, and then you see Orbot and Cubot. Where is Boko and Deco? It's like you're making all these callbacks to all the different Sonic media by including every single character from every single thing that you can even begin to comprehend. And somehow, unless I'm terribly mistaken, I don't think Boko and Deco show up anywhere in this. Oh. Great. Out of all of Dr. Robotnik's major assistants that you could feature in this, where are they? Where are Boko and Deco? I remember them. Is my memory of these characters so insignificant? To be frank, the more I look at Bomb, the less he actually looks like a genuine explosive and more like a fishing bobber. Look, I admit I was never perfect at playing this game in the first place. You know, I play this game a lot. I'm not like, you know, super knowledgeable, best player of SRB2 by even the vaguest stretch of the imagination. And again, this is my first real time having a significant amount of experience with Bomb, who, based on his explosive abilities, I was just expecting him to be a lot more difficult to play with than he ended up being. And so far, it's not proving completely untrue, to a certain extent. Okay. Well, that went well. All I had to do was just kaboom, kaboom, and kaboom some more. This isn't flying, this is falling with style. The more I think about it, it's just... I feel like I've grown up on being something of a masochist with games, because I always play the hardest or the most shitty games. Even on easier difficulties, Earthworm Jim isn't exactly a cakewalk by any stretch. But going back to that, Earthworm Jim, that's a series. Thinking about that earlier, revisit my very first Let's Play as one of the last things I do for my gaming channel, as well as maybe, just maybe playing Earthworm Jim 2 and 3, which is another case of a game that's just like, oh, I like playing terrible games and I'm good at these terrible games that are genuinely not all that good. It's just like, I don't think Earthworm Jim 3D is that bad of a game. It's certainly not that original compared to what you really expect out of a title like Earthworm Jim. But I can definitely understand why people who loved Earthworm Jim kind of saw 3 as the bottom of the barrel. I can understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it. I hate to say this. I find Earthworm Jim 2 more offensive than Earthworm Jim 3D.
Move this man!
And I'm sticking to that. I really do. If for one, I can pick on a number of reasons why I don't care that much for Earthworm Jim 2, and why I've been so hesitant to even touch it. I'm not saying Earthworm Jim 2 is bad, but it is, in my mind, a game that I just don't want to play. Because no matter how mediocre or how problematic Earthworm Jim 3D was, and very definitely is, I'm not denying Earthworm Jim 3D's qualities are barely there, but Earthworm Jim 2 is just more offensive to me for one reason, if nothing else, and that reason is motherfucking puppy love. I absolutely detest puppy love. Fuck that shit. I hate it so much. I don't ever, like, regardless of all the qualities that Earthworm Jim does in fact have, puppy love is one thing greatly detracting from the entire experience. I hate puppy love. That's not to say that there aren't a lot of problems I have with Earthworm Jim 2 in general beyond that, but that is my biggest hang-up. A hang-up so significant, I just... the idea of touching that game when I have to suffer the existence of puppy love. I hate it. I don't want to play Earthworm Jim 2. I really do not. It might technically be a better game overall than Earthworm Jim 3D, but I would far and away rather play Earthworm Jim 3D any day above Earthworm Jim 2. Oh. I'm super! Super! Which in the case of Heavy, you know, when you're playing as the one character whose primary major gimmick is that he's completely invincible, it's just like, what is the point of having a super form for him then? And the answer is his default speed actually goes up when you have the Chaos Emerald powers. Oh, great. Bot messages already. They usually don't show up until the stream is almost over. To be frank, at the rate that I'm going, it is almost over. And also, it's usually by the time that it's over that any actual viewers end up starting to slither in. Rare possibility that that ever happens. Oh. That was a little bit buggy there for a moment. Incidentally, I think it's Modern Sonic that I played this mod with. Can't actually use those things. I don't know when that is, but for whatever reason, the Modern Sonic mod that I downloaded is... they can't use these launchers. Which, I mean, there's ways around it, obviously. Thankful that the guy who designed this mod was smart enough to include ways for those who, for whatever reason, couldn't use these launchers to avoid using these launchers. But, okay. Then it just bugs out anyway. What the hell? Yeah, you can get around having to use those things by going through certain paths. But it just begs the question, why is Modern Sonic the only character that I can't get through with this? Like, what's different about him? What did he do to not have the same compatibility hook that every other single character that I played this with has? Barring Bomb, who... it works... Okay, yeah, it does... you can do that. See? Bomb can do it. It just happened to glitch out that last time for some reason. Incidentally, that one... with shields... shields, like, seem like such a pointless thing. In fact, not only pointless, but also constrictive, as a case for the character of Heavy, who is invulnerable as it is. So, shields... I think the only shield that you could get with Heavy that would genuinely benefit him in a way that not having it... just the elemental shield, you know, the ones that allow you to breathe underwater, which... again, why? He's a robot. Robots don't need to breathe, and I'm pretty sure they're mostly waterproof. I mean, they're waterproof enough that they can go underwater for a certain amount of time as it is anyway. What does giving them air solve? The only shield that benefits heavy, given his invulnerability, is one that allows him to breathe underwater. Every other shield does nothing. Literally nothing to benefit him. Shit, 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 shit. But yeah, I'm thinking one of these days, I do want to kind of end the proper playthroughs on my gaming channel, because I just don't have the passion for it anymore. Not that I ever had a passion for it in the first place, but my passion for doing game playthroughs has fallen off a cliff, especially in the past handful of years. It's just, I don't have much of a will to be playing games at all that often as it is, let alone for entertainment purposes for other people who, let's face it, you're not watching me, so why am I doing this? For my own sake, obviously, and to be frank, I have bittered on that. This isn't fun for me anymore. No, it's difficult enough to want to just go through and play a game for my own sake. Playing it for what mild amount of entertainment I can add by streaming or recording myself playing it, the will is not there anymore. I would rather just drop doing the gaming stuff altogether if it meant I had time to focus on completely different set of ideals, like animating, obviously. I have set up a new channel, basically just called Devasia Mentality Animations. Something to separate from my stop motion stuff, specifically. Not that I'm super faithful that that's going to take off any more than anything else that I've ever done. But honestly, I just want to be able to do something that I feel good about doing. And gaming content, I just don't feel good doing this anymore. At least not often enough for me to have a whole dedicated channel to me playing games. Ow! Okay, fine. Super it is then. Because this boss, without a super form, I don't know how the fuck you're supposed to beat this asshole without constantly losing and picking up your rings over and over, because that frickin' laser, that frickin' bullet attack he has right there. Like, I can understand dodging attacks like this with the fire and whatnot, but when he does the bullet rain hell nonsense, it's just like, how are you expected to realistically dodge that? So, screw it. I'm Super Bomb. I go off like a firecracker in your face. Pow! And, you know, that's basically the end of it as it is. Now, that's not to say that I am never, ever going to be doing anything gaming-related ever again. You know, I just feel like I want to wrap up doing gaming as a standard thing for my main channel. And if I do ever want to play a game again, I might do a live stream with, as I mentioned earlier, a proper full VTubing model. You know, once I get that thing set up. As far as full-on, full-scale, full-force playthroughs of video games the way that I have been doing for as long as I have, I just, no. I'm done with that. But before I do anything, I want to at least do a send-off with a few specific special games, and I think the Earthworm Jim games is one of those things, and another one of them has got to be Sonic Generations, because I sort of more or less promised that would be the last main Sonic video game that I would do a full playthrough of on the channel a long time ago, and I've been dragging my feet on that. I feel like that would make for an adequate finale. That's kind of what I'm thinking at this point is, you know, outside of streams, I'm just going to end doing the regular playthrough stuff by doing playthroughs of the Earthworm Jim series, Sonic Generations, yeah. Do all that. There's basically a final hurrah to that entire shit. Move on to animation like I've been wanting to. Focus on that and only do gaming stuff for myself. Or the occasional live stream. Yeah, it's this stuff here is the reason I wanted to do. I even picked this mod pack out of the bunch is because it has the versus Sam speed stuff, which, God, what am I looking at? Okay, that's about as goofy as Sonic X gets, I guess. So, can't argue with it. But with that all said and done, playing as Bomb, no, I'm not gonna win this race. I'm not even gonna come freaking close. It is just not possible if you're not playing as X-Sonic. If there is somebody out there who has figured out a way to beat this race as some other character other than X-Sonic, I mean, fucking hell, for a start. Yeah, you can't even get past this opening segment. You have to go ridiculously fast, instantaneously, in order to beat this race. And the only character you can realistically do that with is X-Sonic. In fact, let me load up. I'll show you. Oh, God, it's been a while since I played with X-Sonic. I've forgotten how weird he is. Yeah, something about X-Sonic that kind of irritates me. He has a lot of wind-up to his jump. Not a lot of wind-up, but just enough to bother me. Of course, that's not his most bothersome trait overall. His most bothersome trait is this. He is an absolute useless turd in the water. And I get it. That's the way he was in the show. That was his one biggest defining weakness in that series. Is he can't swim, like, at all, period. Despite the fact that he's a hedgehog. Hedgehogs have a natural inclination and preference for water and swimming. They're good at it, but yeah, that's the thing about X-Sonic, is that you have to be able to do the bazoom right off the freaking gate. In order to even start this race proper, you have to go super fast instantaneously, and there might be other characters who can come close to that, but X-Sonic is the only one who can even get this race started. See, I'm barely keeping it, and I still... God! You cannot afford to slip up at all! You have to be uber speed. You can't lose any time on this. Like, this is very definitely a challenge level for X-Sonic and X-Sonic alone. Now, granted, once you get past the opening parts and you get to the more open areas, X-Sonic, honestly, has it a lot easier after that point. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Let's first... I didn't actually mean to zip off right away. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Supersonic, who is... This Supersonic transformation... Holy fuck. This Supersonic transformation is ridiculous! Like, god damn! And about the only thing that offsets this super ultra hyper powerful super transformation is that you need 100 rings to even ignite it, compared to the 50 rings that you need usually. And holy crap, yeah. Now that is a Supersonic right there. It's always awkward because, yeah, even the way he was animated in the show, you don't actually see all of his spines, but when you see him in his super state in this show, it is amazing. Like, X-Sonic Super State is, I think, one of my favorite variations of Supersonic. Can I revert?
Is that the best you can do?
Really? Okay, can't argue with that. Let's just finish the level then. That level was basically why I downloaded this mod in the first place and even played through it so that I could access it. You can tell it's the first file that I have open on this whole thing, and I've got so many more. And now I've completed all the chaotics, so that's that pack completed. I'm sure there are more character packs and more level packs that I could go through if I gave a damn. I might in the future, I don't know. Like, this was a spontaneous thing that I just wanted to do because I figured, oh, considering all the trouble that I had with Heavy, Bomb's probably going to be even worse. And I was wrong. But, yeah, that was Soul Sestancia 2 with Bomb. This has been a Devasia Mentality stream. It is midnight, so I'm gonna go pop out and lie down and never wake up ever again, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna conk out and have done with it. Devasia Mentality out, folks! See ya!